Alright, Milltek exhaust setup with Borla resonator. So let's see how this car sounds now. Let's start the car. Idle, maybe a little louder than stock inside. The inside is pretty quiet. I'm very surprised that this car is so quiet considering they're just straight pipes. That just goes to show you how much noise and engine sounds, everything, the GPF is essentially blocking out. So there's this, people ask me if there's a drone in the exhaust. There is a little bit of a drone in the exhaust around the 2100, 2200 RPM band. So right now I'm under 2000, 2200 RPM. Yeah, there's a drone. And this drone happens only in D mode. I think when the car shifting gears to the very low rev range, around to 2000 RPM, there's a bit of a drone coming. Now this drone is with a resonator, so maybe we can eliminate this drone. Either it'll go away as the exhaust builds up some carbon deposits, which actually helps absorb the drone, or we may have to add another resonator. But other than that, not much drone inside the cabin at all. It's pretty livable. My main concern was the rear seat drone, and I don't hear any rear seat drone. But I can do in this video only I'll put the camera in the back seat, and then we can hopefully pick up if there's any drone back there in the low RPM range. Like normal driving, the car is just marginally louder than stock, and it is not very loud at all. It's surprisingly quiet considering that there's a straight pipe between the GPF and the tailpipes. So now if I give it a little bit more gas, I mean, these engines are funny sounding, to be honest with you, particularly because of the integrated exhaust manifold into the head, which surprisingly also has a cooling jacket for efficiency. The exhaust gas that comes out of this engine goes over the turbo is pretty poor sounding. I've heard many exhausts much more expensive on the aftermarket, people like Army Tricks, people like Bullocks, all sounds within 90% of each other. The only exhaust on the 2.0 TSI Gen 3 that I've heard which actually sounds somewhat decent is the OEM Akrapovic exhaust that comes on the Golf R, but the Golf R is slightly different engine, so it's not a fair comparison. But for Mark 7.5 GTIs, the Octavia RS245, they all sound the same. I mean, it's not as nice sounding an engine as the Gen 2 TSIs on the Laura and the GTI Mark 6. So yeah, we deal with what we have. As far as the crackles go, there aren't much. I mean, if you put the car in sport mode, you do get a little bit of crackle sound in the exhaust, which you'll hear when I put the camera on the exhaust, on the trunk, so you can get a better audio of the exhaust. But other than that, pops and bangs, not too aggressive, very, very, very muted pops, if there are any. I think that after a tune, this exhaust will get a little louder because tune will push out more exhaust gases, exhaust volume into the exhaust, and that will in turn make the exhaust a little louder. But so far so good. I think the GPF is doing a pretty bang up job of keeping the exhaust volume in check. So until and unless we figure out a way to remove the GPF with a high flow cat or some other contraption, the sounds will remain the same. The it'll be very difficult for the car to get too loud. So let's see. Okay, somebody has decided to park his car right in the middle, and yeah, so we are stuck. Anyways, part of living in this country. Spin my wheels. So now that we're approaching an intersection, I can put on my mask and we can do a bit more of a longish run for the exhaust. Okay. Now I don't think the law requires you to wear a mask if you're alone in the car, but why not? It's got to be safe. Now that we are here, let me turn off traction control fully. ESC is deactivated. So let's wait for this traffic to die down a little bit before we go something. Traffic has died down. Let's put the car in sport mode. Right, that's it. Cops. Not bad. I mean, the exhaust sounds pretty damn nice right now. What I'm thinking of doing right now, the resonator is somewhere right below my transmission tunnel over here. I think it would be a better idea to put the resonator a little bit more back. So if I turn the resonator pipe 180 degrees, the resonator will be facing back, will be near the rear of the car. That should hopefully reduce a little bit of the drone. I mean, it's not very annoying, the drone, as you can see in the car. But if you get annoyed by the drone at around 2000, about 2200 is when the drone comes, just for a second, and then it goes away. So maybe either adding another resonator or moving around the position of the resonator pipe should help me reduce the drone that's coming. But other than that, this exhaust is nice. It's a simple setup. It's a straight pipe from Milltek going all the way to my GPF. We decided that we're not going to use the Milltek center section and use the Borla resonated center section that Arvish had in stock, and try it out and see how it sounds. So far it doesn't sound bad at all. So I think we'll keep this setup. We'll try to do something about the drone. I mean, I want to first wait for the exhaust to fully carbonize. The carbon deposits get on the exhaust and absorb a lot of the base of the exhaust, and only after that will we take a call whether we're going to move the resonator around or do we want to add another resonator in its place to kill the drone completely. But yeah, S mode, no issues. Car is nice, spacey, grumpy car. Basically running straight pipes and I can't feel it. Above 3000 RPM there is no sound. I'm sure it must be loud outside, but inside you have no sound. In terms of performance gains from a cat back exhaust, or in this case a GPF back exhaust, I don't think there are any noticeable gains. I mean, if you put the car on a dyno, maybe it'll pick up 5-10 horsepower max, but that's nothing you can feel in your drive. So in terms of power and performance gains, the downpipe is the biggest choke point in these cars. So if you get a performance downpipe, that'll give you the maximum bang for your buck. The catback exhaust just adds noise, no noticeable performance gain. Maybe when you get a tune, the engine gets a little bit more efficient and does a better job of doing it some gains, but other than the stock setup, nothing. Down and show you guys how loud it is outside. So we are still in sport mode, gearbox in sport mode, engine in sport mode.